Hello and welcome to the layout template creation tutorial. The purpose of this tutorial is to demonstrate how to create a template that you can work in a layout for construction documents or elevations, perspectives, whatever you want to push out of SketchUp to scale using layout. And it's something that you can use over and over again for any of your projects. So the first thing you want to do is go to Layout. And when you come to Layout, you'll be greeted by a dialog box, and you want to go and you see you have several templates here for you already to choose from. We're going to just customize one, and that's the purpose of this exercise. So I want you to go to the ArcD landscape that has the, looks like it has title block information to the right hand side of it. It's ArcD landscape, and choose. And we'll open it up, and you'll see that we have the sheet layout. The first thing that I want to do is go to the File, Document Setup. And I want to go to paper first, and I'm going to put a margin on. I want to make it at just a different, brighter color blue, just so I can see it. Okay, good. And auto text. Auto text is a very important feature in using layout. It's a big time saver. It just allows you to put information in here in this field, and when you put a tag in, the information that you display here will be projected to all those tag references. So it's a quick way of projecting information through your drawing. Some of these tag references that we need for our project are already going to be here. We just need to update them. Client address, for instance, is going to be an auto text feature. And when I do that, you'll see that it changes here because it was linked to that, and that's how this thing works. Also, the client name is going to be an auto text feature. And actually, we'll just call it auto text. How about that? We'll keep it simple. And as I do that, you see it change there as well. And let me copy that. Okay. Also, company name. I know it's going to be one. And actually, let me pull this window over so you can see these two. Pull this back over. I'm zooming in. And I'm zooming just by using my middle mouse, the scroll wheel. I hit H for my pan tool. Hopefully my keys are being captured so you can see what I'm doing as well. Client name. So I'm going to keep on going. So the fields that we need that we're looking for here are project title, project number. So some of these things I said exist already. So let's just make sure these auto field text are how they're supposed to be. So coming down here, let's just start from the bottom and work our way up. This is the sheet number, and the page number is already in auto text, so that's fine. This is not an auto text, but I want to go ahead and just make that into an LA for a landscape architect. And also I want to click on this and adjust the height of it a little bit to show you how to do that. I'm just going to go to show fonts. You can change your fonts here and change the size of it. So I'm just going to make this 60. Okay. Drawn by. I'm double clicking here, and I see that there should be an auto text feature here. And I believe if I come up here, there's no drawn by as well. So we're going to create our own. I'm going to put carets in. You have to use the carets when you create these tags. And I'm just going to say drawn by. And it won't do anything now because I haven't created a tag here. So what I need to do is hit plus and create a custom tag and say add. And inside that tag field, I will say drawn by, and it'll just be your name, and this will always be the same. So for me, I would put my initials down, and when I do that, you'll see that it's automatically projected there. So that's what we want. That's good. Project number. Okay, project number is cool. And I'll just say auto text. I had that saved from before, so that would just say auto text field for us there. Project, I'm assuming, is a project name. Okay, so let's keep cap locks on. I'll keep that consistent. Project name is an auto text feature. I just want to make sure that it says, so I know it is. Control V that. So auto text. The issue date is an auto text. Okay, so now actually I'll go here and say issue date, so it's very clear. And that's going to be, whenever we set it, we'll put that in. So we'll do that part of our template. I guess I should say auto text feature then. So issue date is going to be an auto text feature, and just say auto. Oh, could just control V. Okay, keep it consistent. Reissue. Instead of reissue, we're going to change this into scale. So I'm going to double click on that, and my cap lock should be on, and I'm just going to say scale, and I'm just going to just write over this, and this needs to be, type in a note to myself, type in drawing scale. Okay, and I notice that it's kind of going beyond that border, so I'm just going to click that too, or zoom into that box until I get that arrow and just pull down. Alright. I'm going to keep on going now. I don't know why it's giving me a gap. We'll see what goes on with that, but that should be fine still. We would, if you do need to modify that, that'd be easy to do. Company name now. Company name is going to be there, so we need to change that. You'll make up your own name. Company address will do the same thing. So company name, I'll click here, and I'm just going to call my company Site Design Tool LLC. And my company address, you don't have to put all this information. I'm just going to put NC State University, and that's going to be in Greensboro. We'll just put NC. All right, and that'll be there every time. That'll be the same thing. So we have project title, we have project number, we have sheet title, we have sheet notes. We don't have sheet notes, so what I want to do is copy these. So I'm just going to, I hit spacebar, or you can select your selection tool. I'm going to click on that text field and click on, and hold shift and click on the that bracket or that line. I'm going to hold alt and shift at the same time to lock my inference, and just copy this up. And right there looks good to me. And I'll double click here, and I'm just going to change these out. I want this to be sheet notes. And a note to myself would be just to type any sheet notes here. All right. And I'll just expand this just so I can see it, so it's happy. Okay, there we go. Now, what else do we need here? We need the reissue date. You don't need, just ignore that. That'll be removed when you actually see the assignment. Client name, we have client name. And we'll just make sure it says name just to be consistent. And you go through your checklist. Company name is there, company logo. So let's handle that next. Now you can create logos in a multitude of ways. I have a JPEG that I've created, but you can also just use a simple text field by grabbing the text tool here and just dragging it out. You could put maybe your initials. You can highlight it, and with my fonts dialog box still open, I can change the size of those and just maybe make it bold or whatever, and then place it, maybe put LLC below it, and it's pretty easy to build that. You can also bring in, I'm going to delete that though, you can also bring in images, JPEG images. So what I want to do now is do that. So I'm gonna go File, Insert, and I'm gonna navigate to a folder where I know I have this information. Just double click, and when I do that, my image is brought in, and I'm gonna grab the edge and hold Shift and just bring it down. Kind of zoom in, and I'm gonna kind of place it there, and I'll click on that one and just delete it. Now I'm not crazy about that border, so for me, I'm just gonna change that. I'm gonna delete that layer. I'm on default still, that's fine though. I'm gonna hit the rectangle tool, and I'm gonna use this point as an inference, and just come down. And I really want to snap to that margin. If it's not allowing you to snap, you want to go to your arrange, and also make sure your object snap and grid snap are selected. So I'm going to click that. I want to snap to that. That's good. And then I want to make sure I'm going to reference that edge here. Oops, let me do that again. Referencing that edge there. I want to come up. And there we are. Now I can click that. I know I want this to be about a 4. And that's just changing the stroke of it to do that. I'm going to reposition my my logo and just pull it over so it becomes part of that margin. Alright. So that's looking pretty good to me. What else do we need here? So I have the sheet title, north arrow, company logo, scale. We have a scale, yes, right there. And we also need to put in a graphic scale, and a north arrow, I believe, is the last thing that's missing. So to do a graphic scale, I'm going to grab a box here, the rectangle tool, and kind of eyeball what the size would be. So looks about right. And then I'm going to come over to the side, the direction I want to go, and type in and 1/2 inch and hit enter. And I realize coming over now that's too big of a block. I don't want it to be that blocky, so I'm going to do another one and come over and say 1/2 inch. Okay, let me delete that one. Let's make it a little bit more narrow. Look at it in comparison to the overall sheet. It'll probably be even a little bit more narrow. So let me make that one more time. I'm going to hit R as a shortcut for my rectangle tool. And just come over and 1/2 inch. Boom. Okay, that looks good to me. Now I'll grab that. You see the stroke is selected. I'm going to hit Fill and select the color black. Alright. So now I hit M for my move tool. I'm holding Alt to make a copy of this. And I'm just going to make some copies of this thing. Oh, whoops. Grab both of them and just copy them over. Snap. Great. I'm going to copy this one over to make 1 inch. And then I'll copy that over. Cool. Then I'll hit L for my line tool and just connect these. And that fast, we've created a graphic scale. As a reference, click as a reference. Okay. And then I'll come into and with my text tool and just put in 0 feet. And I'll move it to where I need it to be. And I'll just copy that actually over because I'm not sure what the scale is going to be on our drawing. But we'll know that we have to put something there either way. And it's just a nice reminder to have. And I'm just copying these things over, so I'm touching it and grabbing it. And go. Alright. So that looks good. So once I have that done, I want to grab that everything and then right click and then make that a group. Okay. So now the last thing I need to make or to bring in is a north arrow. And you see this north arrow kind of staring at us. You have a scrapbook windows over here, dialog box, that has basically blocks or scraps. People call them scrapbooks in Layout that you can pull these elements from. So I can save this as part of my own scrapbook and just pull it in every time. We're creating a template, so that's not really necessary, but you can save elements that you need for like putting in plant material and things like that to make it faster. Where I'm at is, I believe, the TV plane and site graphics. Within that one is a north arrow I like. So I'm going to hit spacebar for my selection and come over here, and you see it as I select it, I drop it in, and it gives me a north arrow. Now I think this north arrow looks good, but it's a little bit big for what I want, so I'm going to select it and grab the edge and pull it down to make it about the appropriate size. Now I scaled it, but the line weights didn't scale, and that's one of the problems with this, but that's alright. I'll double click in it and click in the cells and make that maybe a 6 instead. So maybe that's a 7 so the top touches. Okay, I'll double click again. Let me pull that down so we can actually see the font. And I think that's probably a little bit big. I have my font size out. I'm just going to double click it here, and maybe it becomes a 12 instead. Okay, that looks good to me. Alright, I'll just kind of move those elements, maybe there. Alright, so now that I have kind of this template created, and I have, I believe, everything here. Again, ignore the reissue date. When you see it and on the assignment, that won't be there. But your scale is there to take its place, so that's good. Everything is as it should be. Client name is going to be an auto text feature, the address. Okay, everything looks good to me. What we want to do is go to the cover page and make sure it's conveying the same information that we need it to. Now, unfortunately, these weren't created with text tags, but this is the benefit of using text tags. Now, I can just change these into carets. I think these names coincide, they're missing carets. And when I do that, it updates. Okay. I think that project number is project number. Okay. So project number, and that'll appear. Issue date is going to be a caret. I'm not sure what it is. Issue date, okay. Issue date, caret, and automatically there. No, that one, because we created that one. That was drawn by. Alright, so this information is automatically there. And sheet description is going to be unique. I can bring back in, I'm going to go back to my cover and grab that logo. And just copy that and go back to the cover page now. And paste it, Control V. Came in where it was. Zoom in. I'm going to scale this, get rid of this one. And I'll drag that one there. And I'll just drag it till it connects to the line. And of course you can, create your own piece here. Alright, that looks pretty good to me. Everything auto text, sheet description is going to be unique. Okay, so all that's done. All this looks good. I'm going to close that out now. Alright, what we want to do is create a cleaner layer organizational structure here. Now I've drawn most of these things now on default. It really doesn't matter because we're going to create our own now. On every inside page, we'll just double click on that, and we'll call that title block. Okay. For the unique elements, we're just going to call that title block unique elements. And then I'll just do a hyphen there. And for default, I actually want to call that viewports and I'm gonna hit the plus sign to create a new one, and I'm gonna call this labels. All right, so now I'm gonna just make sure everything is where it's actually supposed to be. Okay, so now that I have all my layers created, what I want to do is make sure all my elements are where they're supposed to be. So the title block unique elements will just pertain to elements that are unique on each sheet. This is the cover sheet, the cover page, so all these are going to be unique to that. I'm going to select everything, and I'm going to right click on the line somewhere, on one of them, and I'm going to make sure that I'm on the title block layer by double clicking on it, making sure my pencil is beside it, and say move to current layer. So now all that information will be on the title block. So for instance, if I'm here now and turn off that layer, all that disappears. So that's good. Okay. So now I want to go to the inside page, and I want to select everything, and I want to make sure that now on the title block layer, I'm going to right click on the line again and say move to current layer. Okay. Then what I want to do, since I'm not using the cover page one anymore, I'm just going to go ahead and delete that, and we should be left with the elements that we need. Now the viewport, nothing should be on that because that'll be the layer that we put viewports actually in, and the same thing would be with labels. You'll notice too that this icon there's like several sheets, which means that it's projected on every layer. On cover page, you'll notice that it's put on a blind, so it won't appear, or every sheet rather, it appears on every sheet. So if I turned it back on, it would appear there. So it's turned off here, so it's kind of unique. Now when I go in and say for instance I make a page 3, when I do that, page 3 is actually page 2 because it's not counting the cover page. You'll see that when I come back here, it's 1, this is 2. You'll see that the page number updates as well as all the information that I have that's maintained from inside page 1. And if I update one of them, if I update the information again in the auto text, it's projected everywhere. So it's really nice. So once we have that, I'm just going to delete this. I don't need that third sheet. Once I have this done, I want to save this as a template. So when I start my program layout, all this information is already here for me, so I don't have to recreate this ever again unless I want to. So to do that, I just go File, Save as Template, and I'm just going to call this LDAR 171 template, and save. Created it earlier, I'll just replace mine. All right. If you have any questions, send me an email, or you can come see me in my office.